After Rashee Rice's latest marijuana scandal, reports claimed Kansas City has cut ties with him for good. But apparently Rice isn't going quietly, because now he's exposing a lot about Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs behind the scenes. This whole story is getting even messier. Let me catch you up. On March 30, 2024, Easter Sunday, Rashee Rice was driving a Lamborghini Urus at 119 miles per hour on the North Central Expressway in Dallas. Rice's Lamborghini Urus reached 119 mph or 4.5 seconds before the collision. His former SMU teammate Teddy Knox was driving a Corvette at 116 mph 7.5 seconds before the chain reaction collision. The two of them were racing on a public highway, weaving through traffic during rush hour. The collision caused Rice's car to hit the center median wall and began a counterclockwise rotation, which then started the six-car crash on the highway, with a total of 8 people involved, including 2 children. The aftermath was devastating. One woman who was injured in the crash sustained injuries to her head, neck, and back. The woman told the Dallas Morning News that she was stranded on the highway with her 4-year-old son for about 5 hours after the crash. Another victim faced far worse. One person sustained serious bodily injury to her face, head, torso, and leg. The report said she also had post-concussion symptoms, including headaches, extreme light and sound sensitivity, and brain fog. She will be dealing with a life of limited mobility and sight for an undetermined extended period of time while she seeks treatment. And what did Rice do? Rice and 4 other men were seen leaving the scene of the crash without seeing if any of the injured needed help. He left people bleeding on the highway and walked away. He didn't call 911. He didn't check on the children. He left. This is the event that set everything in motion. This is the incident that placed Rashee Rice under the microscope of the law, the NFL, and the public. And everything that happened after the plea deal, the probation, the suspension, and now the marijuana arrest, all traces back to that moment on a Dallas freeway when a 23-year-old NFL receiver thought the rules of the road didn't apply to him. It took days before Rice said anything publicly. He left the scene before police arrived, then later took responsibility in a statement. On April 11, 2024, Rice turned himself in to police after an arrest warrant was issued and was later released on bond. He was facing a mountain of charges: 1 count of aggravated assault, 1 count of collision involving serious bodily injury, and 6 counts of collision involving injury. The legal process dragged on for over a year. Then, in July 2025, Rice accepted a plea deal. The Dallas County District Attorney's Office said Rice agreed to plead guilty to 2 counts of third-degree felony charges. Under the terms of the plea, Rice was sentenced to 5 years of probation. He would be required to serve 30 days in jail at some point during the probation period. He was also required to pay $115,481 in restitution to all the victims to cover their out-of-pocket medical expenses. Dallas County District Attorney John Cruzo put it bluntly: "A vehicle in the wrong hands can be as dangerous as any weapon," he said. He added that they were extremely fortunate that no lives were lost that day, and Rice was fortunate to have walked away unharmed. Rice, through his attorney, issued an apology. He said through a statement, "Last March, he was involved in a high-speed accident in Dallas. There had been a lot of sleepless nights thinking about the damages that his actions caused, and he would continue working within his means to make sure that everyone impacted would be made whole." He urged everyone to obey the speed limit, drive safe, and drive smart. He added that he was profoundly sorry for the physical damages to person and property, and fully apologized for the harm he caused to innocent drivers. The words sounded right. The court accepted the plea, but the question that lingered was simple: would Rashee Rice actually change? The Chiefs had stuck by Rice through the entire legal saga. With Rice's legal situation up in the air, the wideout was allowed to play for the Chiefs in 2024. But the 2024 season brought its own misfortune. Rice was allowed to play in the 2024 season, but he suffered a season-ending knee injury in Week 4. He appeared in just 4 games that year, catching glimpses of his potential while his legal cloud still loomed large overhead. Then came the NFL's judgment. Shortly after Rice was sentenced in 2025, the NFL handed him a 6-game suspension for his role in the 2024 crash. The league's personal conduct policy had been invoked, and Rice was told to sit out the first 6 games of the 2025 season. The NFL and NFLPA worked to finalize the settlement, which allowed him to make his 2025 debut in Week 7 against the Las Vegas Raiders. Meanwhile, the Chiefs were navigating one of the most tumultuous seasons in their recent dynasty. Mahomes' injury during the Chiefs' Week 15 loss to the Los Angeles Chargers was a brutal, if premature, end to a brutal season by Kansas City standards. After reaching 5 of the past 6 Super Bowls and winning 3, the Chiefs were 6-8 and already eliminated from the playoffs. An MRI confirmed that Chiefs QB Patrick Mahomes sustained a torn ACL in his left knee. The franchise quarterback, the man who had led Kansas City to 3 Super Bowl titles, was done for the year. The Chiefs finished the 2025 season with a 6-11 record, highlighting the team's reliance on Mahomes' performance and leadership. It was the first time since 2014 that Kansas City missed the playoffs. The dynasty appeared to be fracturing. Through it all, Rice returned from his suspension and played. Rice served that suspension at the start of the 2025 NFL season and returned to play in 8 games with the Chiefs before he was shut down with a concussion. Rice turned in a strong performance upon his return. In 8 games, he caught 53 passes for 571 yards and 5 touchdowns. Those numbers across just half a season hinted at the kind of receiver Rice could be if he stayed on the field. And if he stayed out of trouble. At training camp before that 2025 season, Rice had spoken with conviction about turning the page. Rice said he had completely changed and grown from the experience. He told reporters, "You have to learn from things like that. I've learned and taken advantage of being able to learn from something like that." Those words about learning, about changing, would come back to haunt him. Head coach Andy Reid had also publicly supported Rice during the season. "He's a tough dude," Reid said of Rice last December. He described Rice as a young guy with a lot on his plate, powering through it to the best of his ability, and said that's how Rice was going about his business. He comes to work and works, but lurking beneath the surface was another storm. In January 2026, Rice's former partner Dakota Jones went public with allegations of domestic violence. Jones posted photos of the alleged abuse on Instagram, displaying a bruised lip, bruising on her legs and chest, scratches on her face and shoulders, and multiple photos of damaged property. Jones referred to her alleged abuser indirectly as the father of her 2 children. In the since-deleted Instagram post, she wrote, "I'm so tired of keeping quiet. I'm so tired of protecting his image." By February 2026, Jones had filed a $1 million civil lawsuit against Rice. In the lawsuit, Jones detailed a long history of abuse, which occurred from December of 2023 to July of 2025. The accusations include acts of physical violence, some of which allegedly occurred while she was pregnant. Jones and Rice have 2 children together. The lawsuit was staggering in its allegations. The suit stated that Rice had grabbed, choked, strangled, pushed, thrown, scratched, hit, and headbutted Jones, as well as hit her with inanimate objects. The suit also said Rice punched walls, destroyed property, and broke furniture while also locking her out of their apartment at night. Rice's attorney, Sean Lindsay, pushed back. Lindsay referenced an October 2025 affidavit, saying that well after the parties' relationship ended, Jones stated under penalty of perjury in a sworn affidavit for non-prosecution that Rice and she had a verbal argument, but he did not punch her. The legal process continued. The NFL said it would investigate the woman's claims. The league said the matter remains under review. Rice also faces a civil lawsuit from the street racing incident that is scheduled to go to trial June 9, and one of the earlier crash victims had already won a $1.1 million settlement. But the attorney representing the victim told CBS News that Rice had not paid a single cent. They eventually put a wage garnishment in place. The attorney said, "When the Chiefs send Rashee a check, they have sent us one too." This was the backdrop heading into 2026. A young receiver with undeniable talent, 2 civil lawsuits, felony convictions, a 6-game suspension already served, and a probation clock ticking. And the Chiefs, they doubled down. Despite everything, the crash, the suspension, the domestic violence lawsuit, the unpaid settlement, Kansas City made a deliberate decision heading into 2026. They were going to build their passing game around Rashee Rice. The Kansas City Chiefs spent the offseason linked to veteran receivers, from Stephon Diggs to a possible reunion with Tyreek Hill. But they did not add to the room. Instead, the plan was to bet on Rashee Rice as Patrick Mahomes' #1 option in 2026. That was a sharp turn for a team that spent months weighing outside help and still came away with the same core. The logic was straightforward. Rice, 26, was drafted in 2023 and flashed early as a rookie, giving the Chiefs enough reason to believe he could carry a bigger load if the rest of the offense stayed healthy around him. In his rookie season, Rice had been phenomenal. He caught 105 passes on 130 targets for 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns. He was Mahomes' go-to weapon during that postseason run, finishing with a composite receiving line of 26 catches for 262 yards and a touchdown over 4 games, to help the Chiefs to the first of their 2 consecutive Super Bowl wins. But since that rookie explosion, the production had been fractured. Since he was selected in the second round of the 2023 NFL Draft, Rice has appeared in just 28 games over his 3 seasons in Kansas City, either by suspension or injury. That availability problem was the elephant in the room. Yet the Chiefs chose to look past it. The Chiefs must have assumed that Rice would be a major part of their plans in 2026 because they went heavy on defense at the top of their draft and didn't take a receiver until Cincinnati's Cyrus Allen with the 176th overall pick in the 5th round. They also signed Jeff Caldwell, Allen's Cincinnati teammate, as an undrafted free agent. No significant veteran receiver was brought in. No big trade was executed. The message was clear. Rice was the guy. The rest of the receiver room reinforced that message through its thinness. The Chiefs spent a first-round pick on Xavier Worthy 2 years ago, but he's more suited for a situational role as a big play specialist who can use his blazing speed to present matchup problems. Veteran Tyquan Thornton was another on-field burner, who has never caught more than 22 passes in any of his 4 NFL seasons. Beyond that, the cupboard was sparse. The other major offseason move was addressing the backfield. Kenneth Walker signed a 3-year, $43.05 million deal to work as Kansas City's new workhorse back, and the coaching staff got a significant upgrade too, with the return of former offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy, the architect of some of the most explosive Chiefs offenses of the Mahomes era. All of this was built around one premise: Patrick Mahomes coming back healthy and Rashee Rice being his top target. According to Schefter, there is a realistic chance that Mahomes will be in the lineup when the Chiefs open the 2026 regular season, with a Monday Night Football home game versus the rival Denver Broncos on September 14. Schefter's update is hardly shocking, as Chiefs general manager Brett Veach recently said that Mahomes was way ahead of schedule in his recovery. The pieces seem to be falling into place. Mahomes recovering ahead of schedule, a new running back to balance the offense, a familiar coordinator returning, and Rice entering the final year of his rookie contract with every motivation to prove himself worthy of a long-term deal. The thinking, as framed by Casey Kingdom, was that the Chiefs were betting on Rice to be the #1 alpha option for Mahomes in 2026. That was a significant vote of confidence for a player whose rise had been shaped as much by questions as by production. The expectation was straightforward. If Rice stayed out of trouble for the duration of the 18-week-plus season and performed on the field, he would become the mainstay in the Chiefs' offense and Mahomes' go-to option in most situations. If that word carried more weight than any contract negotiation or draft pick. If Rashee Rice could stay out of trouble, if he could honor the terms of his probation, if the player who said he had completely changed had actually done so. The Chiefs bet everything on that if. And on May 19, 2026, they got their answer. Kansas City Chiefs receiver Rashee Rice was sentenced to serve 30 days in jail after testing positive for marijuana in violation of the terms of his probation for his role in a crash that left multiple people injured on a Dallas highway 2 years ago. The order of court description read, defendant tested positive for THC. Defendant placed in custody. Defendant ordered to serve the 30 days in jail. Previously ordered on July 17, 2025. Defendant to be released from custody on June 16, 2026. Rice was booked into Dallas County Jail on May 19, 2026. Just like that, the man the Chiefs had built their 2026 passing attack around was sitting in a jail cell because he couldn't pass a drug test while on probation for a felony conviction. The timing could not have been worse. Rice is slated to be released from custody on June 16, meaning he'll miss each Chiefs OTA session, May 26 to 28 and June 1 to 3, and mandatory minicamp, June 9 to 11. These are critical periods for building chemistry, installing plays, and rehabbing from injury. And about that injury, hours after the news broke, ESPN's Adam Schefter reported that Rice underwent cleanup surgery on his right knee last week to remove loose debris. The surgery is expected to sideline him for 2 months, 30 days of which will be spent in jail. Rice won't get the benefit of off-season activities now that he's spending the next month in jail, and he won't have access to the Chiefs' team facility and staff in terms of rehabbing and recovering from this latest surgery. He'll be healing from knee surgery behind bars, with no training staff, no medical equipment, no physical therapy sessions designed for an elite athlete. The combination of legal consequences and physical recovery happening simultaneously in a county jail is about as far from ideal as a professional athlete can get. The response from the Chiefs organization was muted. The Chiefs declined to comment on the case. The NFL wasn't much louder. NFL spokesperson Brian McCarthy said, "We are aware of the report and will decline further comment at this time." The silence spoke volumes. This was an organization that had publicly backed Rice, that had chosen him over free agent veterans, that had allowed him to be the centerpiece of their 2026 offensive vision. And now their investment was sitting in a Dallas County jail cell because of a failed marijuana test. For Mahomes, who is fighting his way back from a torn ACL, this is a devastating blow. Patrick Mahomes needs a more reliable number one receiver. Mahomes will be coming off a season-ending knee injury of his own this year, and while Kelsey can still be a valuable target in clutch situations, to move the chains or put up points in the red zone, he simply doesn't threaten opposing defenses like he used to as a legit number one target. The ripple effects extend across the entire offense. Perhaps the Chiefs could sign a veteran free agent target like Stephon Diggs, Deebo Samuel, DeAndre Hopkins, or Keenan Allen. But there are reasons that veterans are available this late in the process. Or perhaps the Chiefs could get in on the post-June 1 A.J. Brown trade action. Beyond that, it could be a frustrating season for Mahomes and the team as they once again attempt to give their all-time quarterback the targets he needs with not enough in the pantry. And the legal consequences may not stop at 30 days. Rice had received deferred adjudication. Now that he has violated probation, that deferred adjudication is in jeopardy. This isn't just about missing OTAs. This is about a felony conviction potentially sticking permanently on his record. Should Rice face league discipline after this latest transgression in the form of a suspension, it will throw the Chiefs' passing game into quite a bit of uncertainty, especially considering Mahomes is recovering from December surgery to repair a torn ACL. The question of whether the NFL will issue another suspension is hanging in the air. Rice has already served a 6-game ban. He's already been through the personal conduct policy process, and now he's violated the law again. The same probation he was placed on as a result of the very incident that got him suspended in the first place. The NFL's conduct policy has historically been harsh on repeat offenders, and Rice's pattern of behavior makes another suspension a real possibility. Now let's get to the core of it. The claim that Rashee Rice exposed Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs after getting cut for marijuana. Here's what the evidence actually shows. First, as of May 20, 2026, Rashee Rice has not been cut by the Kansas City Chiefs. Rice was expected to open the 2026 NFL season as the Chiefs' primary receiving target. He is still on the roster. He is still under contract. The Chiefs have not released him. There has been no public report from Adam Schefter, from the team, from the NFL, indicating that Rice has been waived, traded, or cut. Second, Rice has not made any public statements exposing Mahomes or the Chiefs organization. A message sent to Rice's attorney was not immediately returned. There has been no press conference, no social media post, no leaked interview in which Rice has accused Mahomes of anything, revealed internal team secrets, or blown any whistle on organizational wrongdoing. The word exposed implies that Rice shared damaging information about his quarterback or his team. That has not happened. What has happened is this: Rashee Rice violated his probation by testing positive for THC, was ordered to serve 30 days in jail, and will miss the Chiefs' entire offseason program. That is a fact. It is documented in court records. It is reported by every major sports outlet. But what Rice has inadvertently exposed is something different, something the Chiefs may not want to talk about. He has exposed the fragility of Kansas City's offensive plan for 2026. He has exposed the risk of building an entire passing attack around a player, with a documented history of legal problems and limited availability. When Rashee Rice is on the field, he has proven he's talented enough to put up the kind of numbers you'd expect from a team's top receiver. The problem continues to be whether or not the Chiefs can count on him to be there. often enough to be that reliable presence for Mahomes. After appearing in 5 Super Bowls over a 7-year stretch and winning 3 of them, the Chiefs sputtered to a bottom 10 finish in the league last year. Hopes will be high that Mahomes and Steve Spagnuolo's defense can lead them back to title contention in 2026 and beyond. Adding Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker III to the backfield should help balance the offense, but the passing game won't be a consistent threat. Without that go-to pass catcher for Mahomes to develop a consistent connection with heading into his 4th season, it just doesn't look like Rice can be that guy. The real exposure here isn't about Rice dropping bombshells on Mahomes. It's about Rice's own actions revealing a fundamental weakness in the Chiefs' roster construction. Kansas City passed on Stephon Diggs. They passed on a reunion with Tyreek Hill. They didn't draft a receiver early. They put all their chips on a 26-year-old who has played just 28 games in 3 seasons, who is on felony probation, who faces a domestic violence lawsuit, and who just failed a drug test. Patrick Mahomes is doing everything in his power to get back on the field. Reid indicated that Mahomes is fully engaged in his rehabilitation, spending approximately 7 hours a day at the team facility. He tore his ACL trying to rally the Chiefs to a comeback win. He had surgery the next day. He attacked every single day of rehab. And when he's ready to throw the ball in September, if he's ready, the man who was supposed to catch it might still be dealing with the consequences of his own choices. So no, Rashee Rice did not expose Patrick Mahomes. And no, he was not cut by the Chiefs for marijuana. But what his arrest does expose is a franchise at a crossroads. A team that bet on potential over reliability, that chose hope over certainty. And that is now watching that gamble blow up in real time. The 2026 Kansas City Chiefs may need to find their answers elsewhere, because the player they were counting on just proved once again that counting on Rashee Rice is the riskiest bet in football.